Alright, a very warm welcome back everyone. Today I want to talk about effects channels. And effects channels, apart from group tracks and VCA faders, are another way to structure your project. And in this case, it is important to notice that group tracks always add an element in your signal chain. So in this case, you would add another track after one of your tracks in order to group these things. And this would not add anything to your signal chain in a sense that you would have more than one path through your routing in order to get to the stereo outbus. But in this case, you always would have one particular, exactly one signal chain, even if you apply group channels. For effects channels, on the other hand, they are used in a different way, but they are used as some sort of parallel approach in order to have more than one signal chain in your project. And the way this works is basically by setting up send effects, and we'll talk about send effects in a whole different video. But what this allows you essentially to do is take the signal of one of your tracks and then pipe it into your effects channels or any other channels really, and then use it from there. So in this case, you are able to break the rules of your DAW in a way that you are not having one exactly one signal path, but you may have multiple ones that are aggregated in the stereo out functionality then. So let's take a quick listen to the project I've prepared here. You can also listen to this on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever. The links are always in the description, and feel free to check that out. So this is just one part of the chorus. We have some sort of reverb going on here. We also have some other effects. And if I'm just muting them now, and putting them back in, you hear that these effects give some very nice character to the music in this case, which is of course one of the reasons why I edit them. But if you do not have these effects available, your sound or your arrangement might sound a little bit dry. So in this case, this is one of the reasons why I added those. So this is how these effects would sound in conjunction with all of the other stuff going on in the arrangement. But it may also be a good idea to talk about how these effects work in general. So before we talk about this, let's just first look at how you can create one of these effects channels, right? So you are going to the plus sign here, and then you have your effect channels here. You choose the effect that you want to add. In this case, I want to add the multi-tap delay just for the sake of this video, and you give this a name. Of course, something like this, MTP. Well, I don't know why I put the P in there. It should be a D, but never mind. This is the effect that you are greeted with. You also greeted with another channel in your mixer window, but in this case, of course, this is out of function. You can actuate the volume, but you have nothing routing into this effects channel, so you could just as well delete it because it's basically not there, not existent, only taking some processing power. Okay, so this is the way how you create these effects channels, and then again, you have to use send effects to get those, but we'll talk about this later. So now, when we are talking about these three channels, in this case, all of these reverb channels, which I'm going to solo now, you hear basically just the effect of the reverb that is present in all of these tracks. And I've mixed them with these send effects, and this is what comes out of there. Of course, everything is a little bit more quiet, so I have to raise the volume here. And again, you only hear the reverb in this case, which enriches the sound here. If we move into the mixer window, you see that, of course, the volumes of these effects are lower than 0 decibels. If I now would move the faders, maybe not that extreme, but you would hear that the effects, of course, get louder. But in this case, especially for this song, I felt that these effects were a little bit too loud, so I mixed them quieter. But instead, I still wanted to have some sort of really lush reverb going on, and this is why I added, or why I sent to these channels a little bit more heavily, but then lowered the volume of these reverb channels. But we'll talk about this later on again. Yeah, and this is how effect channels basically work. You hear that the effect that is added may be a little bit a little bit hefty in comparison to what you would usually find in an instrument that is completely dry. But maybe, or not maybe, in some situations it is a good idea to add more reverb or more delay to these situations, because this would only make your sound better, or maybe not better, but it should really translate much better on your systems than having this completely dry sound. So in this case, if you make it a little bit more wet, this should be fine. Again, if you want to listen to the song, do so on Spotify or all the other streaming platforms, and I'm going to see you in the next one.